Hello, everyone. I'm so happy you're here today. Thank you for spending your time with me. Today, I would like to tell you a small story. Can I ask you something? Have you ever started learning English with great excitement, only to feel disappointed a few days later? Many people have. Maybe you bought a new English book. Maybe you found a wonderful YouTube channel. Maybe you promised yourself, "This time I will never give up." The first day felt exciting. Everything was new. Everything felt possible. The second day was good too. You learned new words. You listened to a story. You felt proud. Then something changed. One story felt difficult. One sentence was hard to understand. A few new words appeared. Your smile became smaller. Then a quiet thought came into your mind. Maybe English is too difficult. Maybe I'm not good at this. Can I tell you something? Almost every English learner has had that thought. You are not alone. Can we think about one little boy? He wanted to learn English more than anything. On the first day, he listened to a short story. He smiled from beginning to end. On the second day, he listened again. He understood a little more. He felt happy. But on the third day, the story was harder. He stopped the audio many times. He looked up many words. Soon, he closed his book. He sighed. Then he quietly said, "I think I'm making too many mistakes." His older sister heard him. She sat beside him. She smiled. Then she asked, "What kind of mistakes?" The little boy looked surprised. "I don't know. I just feel like I'm doing everything wrong." His sister nodded. Then she said something very simple. Making mistakes is normal, but some mistakes make learning harder than it needs to be. The little boy looked at her. "So, can I change them?" She smiled. "Of course. That is how every learner grows." Can I ask you one more question? What if the problem is not that your English is bad? What if you are simply making the same small mistakes that almost every beginner makes? The good news is this: small mistakes can become small changes, and small changes can create big progress. Over the next few minutes, I would like to share 10 common mistakes. Please do not worry if you have made them. Most learners have. I have. You probably have too. The important thing is not to feel guilty. The important thing is to smile. Learn one small lesson and continue your journey. Because every good learner was once a beginner, and every beginner learns by making mistakes. So, let's begin with the first one. Our first mistake is very common: trying to learn too much at once. Can I ask you something? Have you ever made a long study plan? Maybe you said, "Tomorrow I will learn 50 new words. I will study grammar. I will watch 2 English videos. I will read 3 stories." At first, the plan feels exciting. It feels like a new beginning. Can we think about one young girl? She loved learning English. One Sunday afternoon, she bought a beautiful notebook. On the first page, she wrote, "My English plan." Then she made a very long list. Learn many words. Study grammar. Read every day. Listen for 1 hour. Practice speaking. Practice writing. She looked at the list. She smiled. "I can do all of this." Monday came. She finished a few things. Tuesday came. She felt a little tired. Wednesday came. She looked at the long list. She sighed. There is still so much to do. By Friday, she did nothing at all. The notebook stayed on her desk. She felt disappointed. One evening, her grandmother visited her. She saw the notebook. She asked, "Why aren't you using it?" The girl looked down. "My plan is too big." Her grandmother smiled gently. Then she picked up a pencil. She turned to a new page. She wrote only one sentence. Listen to one story. The little girl looked surprised. Only one? Her grandmother nodded. Only one. If you finish that, you have already had a good day. The next morning, the little girl listened to one short story. That was all. The day after that, she listened again. She smiled. She did not feel tired. She did not feel worried. She only felt happy. Can I ask you another question? Which plan lasted longer? The big plan or the small one? The answer is easy. The small one. Children understand this naturally. They do not try to learn everything today. They learn one thing, then another, then another. Maybe we can learn the same way. Do not fill your day with too many goals. Choose one small goal. Finish it. Smile. Then come back tomorrow. Can I tell you one more thing? A small success gives you energy. A plan that is too big often takes your energy away. That is why small habits are so powerful. One story, one page, one sentence, one smile. Tomorrow, you can do one more. So the next time you make a study plan, do not ask, "How much can I learn today?" Instead, ask, "What is one small thing I can happily finish today?" That one small question may change your whole journey. That is our first mistake, trying to do too much. And the simple answer is doing one small thing well. Our second mistake is very common, being afraid of making mistakes. Can I ask you something? Have you ever known the answer, but stayed quiet? Maybe you were afraid. Maybe you thought, what if I say it the wrong way? Many English learners feel that way. Can we think about one little boy? Every Saturday, he joined a small English class. The teacher was kind. The students were friendly. But the little boy was very quiet. One morning, the teacher held up a picture of a cat. She smiled. Then she asked, "What is this?" Many children raised their hands. The little boy knew the answer too. He whispered, "It is a cat." But he did not raise his hand. The teacher looked at him. She smiled gently. "Would you like to try?" The little boy looked at the floor. "What if I say it wrong?" The teacher walked a little closer. Then she said, "Making mistakes means you are trying." The room became quiet. The little boy took a slow breath. He looked at the picture. Then he smiled. "It is a cat." The teacher clapped her hands. "Wonderful." The other children smiled too. No one laughed. No one said anything unkind. The little boy smiled. He felt lighter. The next week, he raised his hand again. This time, he answered a little faster. Then another week passed. Soon, he was smiling every time he spoke. Can I ask you another question? What changed? Did he suddenly become perfect? No. He simply stopped being afraid. Children understand this very well. They try new words every day. Sometimes they say them the wrong way. Sometimes everyone laughs. The children laugh too. Then they try again. They do not think, "I should never speak again." They simply keep talking. Maybe we can learn from them. Do not wait until your English is perfect. Speak while you are learning. Smile while you are learning. Grow while you are learning. Can I tell you one more thing? Every confident speaker was once a beginner. Every beginner made mistakes. The difference is simple. They did not stop. So the next time you know one English sentence, do not hide it. Say it, even if your voice is quiet, even if your pronunciation is not perfect. One sentence spoken with courage is worth more than 100 sentences that stay inside your mind. That is our second mistake, being afraid of mistakes. And the simple answer is having the courage to try. Our third mistake is very easy to make. Thinking one bad day means you failed. Can I ask you something? Have you ever missed one day of English? Maybe you were tired. Maybe you were busy. Maybe life became a little noisy. Then you quietly thought, I missed one day. The next day, you missed another. Soon, you felt too guilty to begin again. Many learners know this feeling. Can we think about one young woman? Every night, she listened to one English story before bed. It became her favorite time of the day. Then one busy week arrived. She worked late. She came home tired. One night, she fell asleep before listening. The next morning, she felt disappointed. She whispered, I broke my habit. The next evening, she looked at her phone. She wanted to press the play button. But another thought came. Maybe I should start next Monday. So she waited. Monday came. Then another Monday. Still, she did not begin. One afternoon, she visited her grandfather. He was working in his garden. She watched him water the flowers. Then she noticed something. One flower looked dry. She asked, Did you forget to water this one yesterday? Her grandfather smiled. Yes. She looked surprised. Will it die? He gently shook his head. No. I'll give it water today. A few minutes later, the flower stood a little taller. The young woman smiled. She understood. Missing one day was not the problem. Forgetting to come back was the problem. That evening, she went home. She opened one short English story. She listened from beginning to end. When it finished, she smiled. My habit is back. Can I ask you another question? Has this happened to you? Maybe you missed yesterday. That is okay. Yesterday is already gone, but today is still here. Children understand this naturally. When they fall while learning to ride a bicycle, they do not wait until next month. They stand up. They smile. They try again. Maybe we can do the same. Do not let one difficult day become one lost month. Come back today. Even if it is only one story. Even if it is only 5 minutes. Can I tell you one more thing? A habit is not broken because you miss one day. A habit becomes stronger every time you return. That is where real growth begins. So the next time you miss a lesson, take one slow breath, smile, press the play button, and begin again. That is our third mistake. Believing one bad day means everything is lost. The simple answer is coming back today. Our fourth mistake is very common. Comparing yourself to other learners. Can I ask you something? Have you ever watched someone speaking beautiful English? Maybe their words sounded smooth. Maybe they spoke with confidence. Then you looked at yourself. You quietly thought, I will never be that good. Many learners have this feeling. Can we think about two friends? Every Sunday, they studied English together. The first friend spoke quickly. She knew many words. The second friend spoke slowly. Sometimes, he stopped to think. Sometimes, he smiled because he finally remembered one simple word. One afternoon, the young man became very quiet. His friend noticed. She asked, "What are you thinking about?" He smiled a little. "I think you are much better than I am." His friend looked surprised. She closed her notebook. Then she asked, "Do you know my first English class?" The young man shook his head. She laughed. "I was afraid to say one sentence. I forgot easy words. I made many mistakes." The young man looked surprised. "You?" She nodded. "Yes. Everyone starts somewhere." The room became quiet. Then she pointed to the window. Outside, two small trees were growing. One tree was taller. The other tree was shorter. She smiled. "Do you think the smaller tree is failing?" The young man looked outside. He smiled. "No, it is still growing." She nodded. "So are you. Can I ask you another question? Why do we compare ourselves? We only see where someone is today. We do not see all the days they kept trying. We do not see the mistakes they made. We do not see the days they wanted to give up. Children do not worry about this very much. When one child runs faster, another child keeps running. When one child learns a word first, another child smiles and keeps learning. They know something important. Everyone grows at a different speed. Maybe we can remember that too. Can I tell you one more thing? Your English journey belongs only to you. No one else can walk it. No one else can finish it for you. So do not compare your page 1 to someone else's page 100. Instead, look at yesterday. Have you learned one new word? Have you understood one new sentence? Have you smiled one more time? If the answer is yes, you are moving forward. That is what really matters. So the next time you compare yourself to someone else, take a slow breath. Smile. Then look at your own journey. One step, one story, one beautiful day at a time. That is our fourth mistake. Looking at someone else's path instead of enjoying your own. Our fifth mistake is very easy to make. Stopping for every new word. Can I ask you something? What happens when you hear a word you do not know? Do you stop the story? Do you open a dictionary? Many learners do. They want to understand everything. That sounds like a good idea. But sometimes, it makes learning much harder. Can we think about one little girl? Every evening, she listened to one English story. One night, she heard a new word. She stopped the story. She looked up the word. Then she pressed play again. A few minutes later, another new word appeared. She stopped again. Then another. And another. Soon, she forgot what the story was about. She knew many new words. But she did not enjoy the story. The next day, her older brother sat beside her. He watched her for a few minutes. Then he smiled. "Can we try something different today?" The little girl looked at him. "What do you mean?" He pointed to the play button. "Today, let's finish the story first. If you hear a new word, just keep listening." The little girl looked unsure. "But what if I don't understand?" Her brother smiled. "Let's find out together." So she pressed play. A new word came. She wanted to stop, but she remembered her brother's words. She kept listening. The story continued. A little bird was looking for its home. The little girl listened carefully. At the end of the story, she smiled. I understood almost everything. Her brother smiled too. You didn't need every word. You needed the story. Can I ask you another question? When your friend tells you a story, do you stop every time you hear a new word? Of course not. You keep listening. You understand the message. English can be the same. Children learn this way every day. They hear words they do not know, but they keep listening. Little by little, those new words become familiar. Not because they stopped every minute, because they trusted the story. Maybe we can do the same. Trust the story. Trust the next sentence. Sometimes, the next sentence explains everything. Can I tell you one more thing? A story is not a test. It is a journey. Enjoy the journey first. Learn the new words later. That way, your heart stays calm, your ears stay open, and your English keeps growing. So the next time you hear a new word, do not be afraid. Keep listening. Keep smiling. Let the story carry you forward. That is our fifth mistake, stopping for every new word. And the simple answer, finish the story first. Our sixth mistake is very common, learning only words. Can I ask you something? Have you ever written a long list of English words? Maybe you learned 10 words today, maybe 20. You worked very hard. But a few days later, many of those words were gone. Many learners know this feeling. Can we think about one little boy? Every afternoon, he opened a notebook. On every page, there were long lists of English words. Apple, river, window, mountain, beautiful, happy. He read every word again and again. He tried very hard. One evening, his aunt came to visit. She looked at his notebook. Then she smiled. You know many words. The little boy smiled proudly. Then she asked, Can you tell me a story with those words? The little boy became quiet. He looked at the notebook. He knew the words, but he did not know how to use them together. His aunt sat beside him. She opened an English storybook. It was a story about a little bird. The bird wanted to find a big tree. It flew over a river. It looked at the blue sky. The little boy listened carefully. He smiled. I know those words. His aunt smiled. Yes, but now they have a home. The little boy looked surprised. A home? She nodded. Words are happier inside a story. The little boy laughed. I like that. The next day, he still learned new words. But now, he learned them inside stories. Every word had a place. Every sentence had a feeling. The words became easier to remember. Can I ask you another question? Which is easier to remember? One word by itself? Or one word inside a beautiful story? Most people remember stories much longer. Children learn this way every day. They do not begin with long word lists. They hear stories. They laugh. They imagine. Little by little, the words stay in their hearts. Maybe we can learn the same way. Do not chase hundreds of lonely words. Look for words that live inside stories. Those words become your friends. Can I tell you one more thing? A story gives meaning to every word. A story gives life to every sentence. That is why stories stay with us for so many years. So the next time you learn a new word, ask yourself, can I find this word in a story? If the answer is yes, read the story, listen to the story, Enjoy the story. The word will stay with you much longer. That is our sixth mistake. Learning only words and forgetting the stories that give them life. Our seventh mistake is very common. Waiting until you feel ready. Can I ask you something? Have you ever said, "I'll start tomorrow. Next week will be better. I need to study a little more first"? Many learners have said those words. Maybe you have too. Can we think about one young woman? She wanted to speak English. Every evening, she listened to English stories. She learned new words. She practiced every day. But every time someone asked, "Would you like to speak?" she smiled politely. Then she said, "Not yet. I need a little more time." Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Still, she gave the same answer. Not yet. One afternoon, she visited her grandmother. They sat together in the garden. The grandmother was planting small flower seeds. The young woman watched quietly. Then she asked, "How do you know the flowers are ready to grow?" Her grandmother smiled. She gently covered the seeds with soil. Then she said, "I don't wait. I plant them first. The growing comes later." The young woman became very quiet. She looked at the small seeds. They did not look ready, but they were already in the ground. The next morning, she opened her favorite English story. She listened to one sentence. Then she pressed pause. She smiled. She said the sentence aloud. It was not perfect. She made a small mistake. Then she laughed. She said it again. This time, it felt a little easier. Can I ask you another question? What changed? Did her English become perfect overnight? No. She simply stopped waiting. Children do this every day. They do not wait until every word is perfect. They speak. They smile. They make mistakes. Then they speak again. Little by little, their confidence grows. Maybe we can learn the same way. Do not wait until you know everything. Do not wait until every sentence feels easy. Begin with what you know today. Can I tell you one more thing? Read one sentence. Say one sentence. Listen to one story. That is enough. Readiness does not come first. Action comes first. Then confidence quietly follows. So the next time you think, "I'm not ready yet," take one small breath. Open one story. Say one simple sentence. Your journey has already begun. That is our seventh mistake. Waiting for the perfect moment. And the simple answer, begin today. Our eighth mistake is very easy to make. Never listening to the same story twice. Can I ask you something? What do you usually do after you finish an English story? Do you quickly look for a new one? Many learners do. They think, "I already know this story. I need something new." But maybe the story is not finished with you yet. Can we think about one young boy? Every evening, he listened to one English story. When the story ended, he always searched for another one. Every day was a new story. Every day was a new beginning. One afternoon, his teacher smiled and asked, "What was yesterday's story about?" The little boy thought for a long time. "I don't remember." His teacher smiled kindly. Then she asked, "Would you like to hear it again?" The little boy looked surprised. "The same story?" His teacher nodded. "Yes, let's see what happens." So they listened together. The little boy smiled. This part is funny. A few minutes later, he smiled again. I didn't hear that sentence yesterday. Then he laughed. I know this word now. The teacher smiled. The story stayed the same, but you changed. The little boy became very quiet. He listened to the end. This time, the story felt different. Not because it was new, because he understood more. Can I ask you another question? Have you ever watched your favorite movie more than once? Most people have. The second time, you notice something new. The third time, you understand something you missed before. A good story is like that. Every time you return, it gives you another small gift. Children love hearing the same stories. Sometimes they know every page. Sometimes they say the next sentence before it comes. They never say, "This story is boring." They smile. They laugh. They enjoy it again. And while they enjoy it, they learn. Maybe we can learn like children. Do not hurry to leave a good story. Stay with it a little longer. Listen again. Notice one new word. Notice one new sentence. Notice one new feeling. Can I tell you one more thing? A story becomes a friend when you spend time with it. Friends become familiar. Friends become comfortable. English can become that way too. So the next time you finish a story, do not ask, "What is the next story?" Instead ask, "What can this story teach me today?" Then press the play button one more time. Listen with calm ears. Listen with a peaceful heart. You may discover something beautiful. That is our 8th mistake, leaving a good story too quickly. And the simple answer, stay with it a little longer. Our 9th mistake is very quiet, forgetting how far you have come. Can I ask you something? When you finish an English story, what do you think about? Do you think about the words you understood? Or do you only think about the words you missed? Many learners only see what they could not do. Very few stop to see how much they have already learned. Can we think about one young woman? Every evening, she listened to one English story. She had been doing this for many months. One night, she finished another story. Then she sighed. I still don't understand everything. Her father was sitting nearby. He smiled. Then he asked, "Do you remember your first story?" She laughed. A little. Her father picked up an old notebook. Inside, she had written a few simple English words. Some words were spelled the wrong way. Some sentences were unfinished. She smiled. I forgot about this. Her father turned another page, then another. The words became longer. The sentences became smoother. The stories became easier to read. The young woman became very quiet. She looked at every page. Then she smiled. I've learned more than I thought. Her father nodded. Yes, but every day you only looked at the next mountain. You forgot to look behind you. Can I ask you another question? When you climb a mountain, do you only look at the top? If you do, the journey feels very long. But sometimes, it is good to stop. Turn around. Look at the path behind you. You will see how far you have already walked. English is like that. Sometimes we forget our first steps. We forget the first story, the first sentence, the first word we understood. Children celebrate small victories. When they read one new word, they smile. When they finish one small book, they smile again. They are proud of every step. Maybe we can learn from them. Do not wait until you are perfect before you feel proud. Be proud of today's progress. Be proud of yesterday's effort. Be proud that you came back again. Can I tell you one more thing? Growth is sometimes difficult to see because it happens little by little, quietly, patiently. Every story leaves something inside you. Every sentence teaches you something new. Every smile gives you a little more confidence. So the next time you think, my English is not good enough, stop for a moment. Look back. Remember your first day. Then look at today. You may discover something beautiful. You have come much farther than you think. That is our ninth mistake. Forgetting how far you have come. And the simple answer, take a moment to celebrate your journey. Our 10th mistake is very common. Thinking it is too late to learn English. Can I ask you something? Have you ever said, I should have started years ago. I'm too old now. It's too late for me. Many people believe those words. They say them quietly. Sometimes, they say them only to themselves. Can we think about one older woman? She always wanted to learn English. When she was young, she was busy. She worked every day. She took care of her family. Years passed. One afternoon, she found a small English storybook. She smiled. Then she quietly put it back on the shelf. She whispered, I'm too old. A little girl was standing nearby. She heard those words. She looked at the woman. Then she asked, Do you still like stories? The woman smiled. Yes. The little girl picked up the book. She placed it gently into the woman's hands. Then she said, If you still like stories, maybe you can still begin. The woman looked at the little book. She smiled. That evening, she read one page. Very slowly. Some words were new. Some sentences were difficult. But she finished the page. The next evening, she read another page, then another. 1 month later, she was sitting in the same chair. The little girl came to visit. She smiled. What are you reading today? The woman laughed. My favorite English story. The little girl smiled. Are you still too old? The woman laughed again. I don't think so. Can I ask you another question? When does a tree stop growing? As long as it has water. As long as it has sunlight. It keeps growing. People are like that too. As long as we keep learning. We keep growing. Children remind us of this every day. They are not afraid to begin. They are not afraid to learn one more thing. Maybe we can learn from them. Do not ask, Am I too old? Instead ask, What small step can I take today? One page, one story, one smile. That is enough. Can I tell you one more thing? The best day to begin may have been yesterday, but the second best day is today. Today is still waiting for you. Today is still full of possibilities. Today can become the first page of a beautiful new chapter. So if you have been waiting, please wait no longer. Open one story. Read one page. Take one small step. Because your journey is not over. It may be just beginning. That is our 10th mistake. Thinking it is too late. And the simple answer, begin today. Can we stay together for one more moment? Today, we talked about many mistakes. Maybe you remembered some of them. Maybe you smiled because they sounded familiar. Can I ask you something? How do you feel when you make a mistake? Do you feel disappointed? Do you feel embarrassed? Many people do. But maybe we can look at mistakes in a different way. Can we think about one little girl? She loved drawing pictures. Every afternoon, she sat by the window with her crayons. One day, she wanted to draw a beautiful bird. She started with the wings, then the head, then the tail. When she finished, she looked at the picture. She frowned. The bird doesn't look right. She wanted to throw the paper away. Just then, her mother walked into the room. She picked up the drawing. She smiled. "I like this bird." The little girl looked surprised. "But I made mistakes." Her mother nodded. "Yes, you did." Then she pointed to the paper. "Do you see these little lines?" The little girl looked closely. She nodded. "I erased them." Her mother smiled. "Those little lines helped you find the right shape. If you never made those lines, you would never finish the picture." The little girl became quiet. She looked at the drawing again. This time, she smiled. She no longer saw only the mistakes. She saw the whole picture. Can I ask you another question? Maybe English is like drawing a picture. Every mistake is a small line. Some lines stay. Some lines disappear. But every line helps you move forward. Children understand this naturally. They draw. They erase. They draw again. They do not say, "I'll never draw again." They simply keep creating. Maybe we can learn from them. Do not be afraid of small mistakes. Do not hide them. Do not let them stop you. Every mistake is teaching you something. Every story is helping you grow. Can I tell you one more thing? One day, you will look back. You will smile at the mistakes that once worried you, because they were never standing in your way. They were quietly showing you the way forward. So the next time you make a mistake, take a slow breath. Smile. Keep listening. Keep learning. Keep moving forward. Because every mistake is one more step on your journey, and every step matters. Can I tell you one more story? There was a young man. Every evening, he listened to one English story. Some stories were easy. Some stories were difficult. But every night, he came back. One evening, he finished another story. Then he quietly said, "I don't think I'm improving." His mother was sitting nearby. She smiled. Then she asked, "May I show you something?" The young man nodded. His mother walked to a small bookshelf. She picked up an old notebook. It was his notebook from 1 year ago. She opened the first page. There were only a few English words. Some letters were missing. Some words were spelled the wrong way. The young man laughed. "I forgot about this." His mother turned another page. There were short sentences. Then another page. There was a small paragraph. Then another page. There was a whole story. The young man became very quiet. He slowly turned every page. He smiled. Then he looked at his mother. "I really wrote all of this?" She smiled. "Yes. You wrote every page. You learned every word. You listened to every story." Then she gently asked, "So why do you think you are not improving?" The young man looked at the notebook again. After a long moment, he smiled. "I only looked at what I still couldn't do. I forgot to look at what I can do now." His mother nodded. "I think many learners do that. Can I ask you something? Have you ever done the same thing? Maybe you forgot your first English story. Maybe you forgot your first new word. Maybe you forgot how nervous you felt on your first day. Sometimes, we become so busy looking ahead that we forget how far we have already walked. Children celebrate small victories. They clap when they finish one puzzle. They smile when they read one new word. They are happy because they can do something today that they could not do yesterday. Maybe we can learn from them. Take a quiet moment. Think about your first day. Then think about today. Maybe you understand more. Maybe you smile more. Maybe you are less afraid. Those changes matter. Can I tell you one more thing? Progress is not always loud. Sometimes, it is as quiet as one new word, one clear sentence, one peaceful smile. But those quiet moments keep growing. Day after day, story after story, little by little. So tonight, before you sleep, think about one thing you can do today that you could not do before. Smile. Be thankful. Then continue your journey. Because you are doing better than you think. And tomorrow, you will grow a little more. Before we finish today's story, can we stay together for one more moment? Take a slow breath. Relax your shoulders. Today, we talked about many mistakes. Some of them may have felt familiar. Maybe you smiled. Maybe you remembered your own journey. Can I ask you something? What do you see when you look at a path through a forest? Do you only see the rocks? Or do you also see the beautiful trees? Can we imagine one little boy? Every weekend, he walked through a small forest with his grandfather. The path was not perfect. Sometimes there were little rocks. Sometimes there were fallen branches. Sometimes the ground was wet after the rain. One morning, the little boy looked at the path. He sighed. There are too many rocks. His grandfather smiled. Yes, there are. The little boy looked disappointed. I wish the path were easier. His grandfather gently pointed toward the trees. The birds were singing. The morning light was shining through the leaves. A soft wind moved the branches. Then he asked, "Did you see those things too?" The little boy looked around. He smiled. I didn't. I only looked at the rocks. His grandfather nodded. That happens to many people. They forget to see the beautiful parts of the journey. The little boy became very quiet as they continued walking. He noticed more things. A butterfly, a tiny flower, a happy bird, a small stream. The path still had rocks, but now it also had many beautiful things. Can I ask you another question? Maybe learning English is like walking through that forest. Yes, there will be difficult days. There will be mistakes. There will be words you do not know. But there will also be smiles, beautiful stories, new ideas, small victories, kind memories. Sometimes we forget to notice those things. Children remind us to look carefully. They stop to watch a butterfly. They smile at a little flower. They enjoy the journey. Maybe we can do the same. Do not spend all your time looking at your mistakes. Look at your progress too. Look at your courage. Look at the many days you chose to begin again. Can I tell you one more thing? Your mistakes are only a small part of your story. They are not the whole story. The whole story is much more beautiful. It is a story about hope, a story about patience, a story about courage, and most of all, it is a story about someone who never stopped learning. That story is still being written, one page at a time, one story at a time, one beautiful day at a time. Before we say goodbye, I would like to stay with you for one more moment. Thank you. Thank you for listening today. Thank you for learning with me. And thank you for believing that one small step can make a difference. Today, we talked about 10 common mistakes. Maybe you have made some of them. Maybe you have made all of them. If you have, please do not feel sad. Please do not feel embarrassed. Instead, please smile. Can I ask you one last question? What is a mistake? Many people think a mistake is a sign to stop. But maybe a mistake is a sign that you are moving. Can we think about a little child learning to walk? The child stands up, then falls down, stands up again, falls down again. No one says, "You should stop walking." Everyone smiles. Everyone claps. Everyone says, "Try again." Why? Because everyone knows something important. Falling is part of learning. Maybe English is the same. Maybe every mistake means you are taking another step. Maybe every difficult story is making your ears stronger. Maybe every forgotten word is making room for a new one. Maybe every small effort is changing you, even when you cannot see it. Can I tell you something? Please do not be afraid of slow days. Please do not be afraid of difficult stories. Please do not be afraid of mistakes. Be afraid of only one thing: giving up on yourself. As long as you keep coming back, you are still growing. As long as you keep listening, you are still learning. As long as you keep smiling, your journey is still moving forward. One day, you will listen to a story. You will understand more than before. You will remember a sentence without trying. You will smile because English feels a little more natural. Then you may remember today. You may remember these small mistakes. And you may quietly say, "They helped me." Can I tell you one final thing? Do not try to become a perfect English learner. Become a curious learner. Become a patient learner. Become a joyful learner. Those learners never stop growing. So tomorrow, open one story. Listen with an open heart. Learn one small thing. Smile one more time. And if you make another mistake, welcome it, learn from it, then keep walking. Because every beautiful journey has many small mistakes along the way. And every one of those mistakes helped you become the person you are today. Thank you for letting me be part of your English journey. Keep listening. Keep believing. Keep growing. One story at a time. One smile at a time. One beautiful step at a time. And see you in the next story.